Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Roger Chen from University of San Francisco Center for Business Studies and Innovation, Asia Pacific. Anita, welcome to join our interview program. We want to first thank you for supporting us. Would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Thank you, Roger, for this opportunity. My name's Anita Manwani, and I have been in Silicon Valley for many, many decades, way before some of the freeways were in place. But my story kind of goes back a long ways. I came here as a student, and now currently, I'm the CEO and founder of a lab information management solution software company. The company is called Relims. We are doing business as Relims, though we started out as Karobar Business Solutions. And prior to that, I was a senior executive with Agilent Technologies and Hewlett Packard. And prior to that, I was in a startup in a robotics company. And I have two hats. My other job, which is a voluntary job, is the president of TAI Silicon Valley. And TAI has been around for 30 years. So we'll talk about that, later on in this conversation.
Discussion topic: Managing Asian Cultural Identity in My Career.
I'd like to ask you whether you are kind of Asian or Indian cultural background heritage, kind of give you some advantages or benefits, or maybe on the other side, like a disadvantage or challenges when you pursue entrepreneurship activities.
I'm a hyphenated American, right? And in my early years in my career, I think I was not as conscious about how we define diversity today.
Oh, okay.
When I worked at NASA Ames Research Center before I came to Hewlett Packard, and one of our assistants there would call I had a colleague who had a very long last name.
Mm-hmm.
And the last name was Subramaniam. And in those days, people didn't pronounce each other's names that were foreign to them correctly. No one took offense. And she would call this gentleman Subterranean. We would all just laugh, smile. No one took, no one thought it was egregious in any manner. I think in today's world, that would be frowned upon. And sometimes I believe, Roger, that because I should speak for myself, I was actually not as conscious in my early years that I was different, even though I stood out differently. I stood out. I didn't have the same color skin. I didn't have the same hair skin. And in addition to that, I'm 5'2". I'm really short compared to the average American. So these could have been disadvantages. I only learned later that they were disadvantages. So when I started out, I was very confident. And I think part of this is that I grew up in a country I came in India, which was very diverse in itself. But I also was very fortunate to have grown up with parents who believed highly in education. And so the thing that was, drilled into me was education was absolutely non-negotiable. Not that it was ever a point of discussion, but that was your ticket to success. And success was not an option.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, and I never thought, and I had a very good, stable childhood. My parents were loving. So, I just did not even think about some of the things that today's children and today's families face. We weren't rich, my, middle class, upper middle class family in India. but we never thought that we needed more. We had enough. And so back to this thing of, being Asian, that I think gave me a lot of confidence, because I was the first in my neighborhood in Bombay to come to the US for my further studies without having any relatives or friends where I was going.
You must be very, very good accent in studies. Yeah.
So, and I was on a full scholarship. So for me, that gave me a lot of confidence. I felt like, okay, I can do this. But the second thing was that I didn't think about diversity and saying, oh, something is not happening because I'm different or whatever. I was just, this belief that I have to do well and I have to just give it my best. A story in HP was we were releasing our first HP UX Unix system.
Uh-huh.
And I had worked that entire Christmas, 24th, 25th, 26th. So much so that when I would drive into we had, the offices were gated, so you had to show your card to the, at the gate. And the guy told me, he said, you don't have family? Why are you here on Christmas Day? I was young, I was single, so, I didn't have family really. So here I was working. And at the end of that, my manager, right after the holidays, said, thank you very much. You did a great job. And, he thanked me profusely. And I said, why are you thanking me? It's my job. I had to get it done. I got it done. Please don't thank me. And he gave me a very good lesson. He was also a hyphenate. He was Asian American. And thank you, William, if you're seeing this. He said, Anita, in the Asian culture, we say the squeaky wheel makes the empty vessels make the most noise. But in America, we say the squeaky wheel gets the most grease. And I learned that lesson, that you also have to advocate for yourself. So what he was telling me really was, I appreciate you. And so now most people, you should be telling me what all you have done instead of saying, no, don't thank me. I did my job. So that was an early lesson. And so, back to your question, did I feel discriminated against? No, I didn't. And was there some level of discrimination? Yeah, as you rise up, you kind of and I wouldn't say it's discrimination, but it is the inflection of new people coming into a workforce that is used to a certain homogeneity. And so when I'm in a room full of men and a man is making a point, I've made a point, it hasn't been heard, somebody else, another gentleman makes a point, the same point, but in his words, and now everybody listens. Do you take umbrage to that? I didn't. Did I notice it? Yes. Did I make a big deal about it? No. I would, whenever I got a chance, to kind of get back the conversation and contribute to it and build upon it. Was that right or was it wrong? I don't know. It worked for me. Okay. It worked for me to not carry a chip on my shoulder. And I can speak to, do I understand what's happening today? Yes. Am I an advocate of diversity and women and, bringing more diversity from a cultural and ethnicity point of view? Absolutely. But today's world, I was lucky. I grew up professionally in a world which was not as sensitive as it is today. And that helped me be more confident.
Thank you for watching.